And I can remember being so distraught about losing my second child. And I was like, it was beyond my control. I obviously can't control when I have kids, but I can control what I put in my mouth. I do have control over how healthy I am. I do have control over whether I am overweight or whether I'm not. So I made a deciding decision that I was going to take control of my health. I decided to drastically change my diet. I decided to stop eating meat, stop eating dairy, and eliminate those things from my diet and really focus on fueling my body with fruits and vegetables, specifically lots of cruciferous vegetables. I was overeating. I was binge eating. I was using food as comfort. When I lost my child, I was eating a whole medium pizza. I would order and eat the whole thing. I would stop by McDonald's and get four chocolate, Subway and get three oatmeal raisin cookies, and then go to McDonald's and get the value and go to a park and eat it all. My goal is, no matter what my doctor says, clean bill of health, I'm still going to be intentional with taking care of this body that I was given. I am 5'7" and I am at 145 pounds. My highest weight was probably about 235. It takes years for your body to cry out and say, girl, enough's enough.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm so excited about today's guest. This is Makita. Makita has an amazing story, and she's going to help so many people. But before we get started, Makita, can you briefly introduce yourself to the audience?
Hi, my name is Makita, and I'm so excited to be here. I am a weight loss and mindset coach for women over 40, and I was my first client. I lost over 80 pounds about 10 years ago, and I feel like I have a calling to help other women do the same thing. And that has been my journey for the last 10 years.
Wow. Now, when you were growing up, were you always overweight? And what made you lose 80 pounds?
Well, growing up, I had a lot of traumatic experiences. I probably could write a whole book on it. You would never think that I've been through a lot of the things that I've been through. And food was always the comfort. I always used food to soothe me. I come from a single parent home. My mom always worked, and her reward to us was bringing home McDonald's and bringing home Wendy's, and that is how we were with each other, through food and her cooking. And I felt like food wouldn't disappoint me, food wouldn't abandon me, food wouldn't hurt me. I would go sneak in the room and eat even more after what she's fed us, because that is what I always use to soothe me. And a lot of people have that. So consequently, I was I was overweight. I was always the larger kid. I was always the overweight friend in college, and within my friend circle. And believe me, people let me know that. And I got on every diet that you can think of: cabbage soup diet, tuna fish diet. I can remember growing up and being in high school and off and on yo yo dieting. I learned that if you restrict, you're going to lose weight. But I didn't change my habits. So I would go right back into those old habits and I would just gain the weight back again. When I got married and I tried to have kids, that I was met with a huge struggle. It took me about 9 years to finally conceive, but I went through IVF cycles. I lost two kids, and I can remember being so distraught about losing my second child. And I was like, it was beyond my control. People would say, in God's timing. But when you want to be a mama, you're like, I don't want to hear that. I want to be a mama right now. But it was a deciding factor in saying, you know what? I obviously can't control when I have kids, but I can control what I put in my mouth. I do have control over how healthy I am. I do have control over whether I am overweight or whether I'm not. So I made a deciding decision that I was going to take control of my health. I started learning everything that I could about weight loss, and not just the weight loss where you're just going on these calorie restricted diets and losing weight. It wasn't about that anymore. It was about being healthy from the inside out. I wanted to feel good in my body. I needed to feel good because I was coming off of losing kids, going through IVF, lots of drugs, of infertility drugs. I needed to feel good. So it wasn't no longer about just the weight loss. It was about feeling good. And what I learned was I needed to switch to foods that made me feel good. So I took my focus off the weight loss and put my focus on being healthy, feeling good, nourishing my body, taking care of my body for about a year and a half. And once I took that energy and focused on, I just need to feel good. Is what I'm putting in my body at this moment going to make me feel good or not? Or is it going to make me feel bloated and gassy? I found that if I switch over to having foods in abundance of fruits and vegetables and lots of water and sunshine and exercise, that made me feel good. And what happened was that weight started coming off, start coming
Wow.
off. From
So
week to week, I was dropping it.
how'd you come to that conclusion of those foods? Did you hear about it or did you just try everything and you ended up on that?
I started reading lots of books and educating myself. I'm a teacher by profession. I've been a teacher for over 20 years, and that's the teacher in me. I'm all about making sure that you are educating yourself and learning. No one's responsible for that but you and learning about nutrition. So I put all my effort into learning about food and nutrition and how it affects your body. And that is where I got a lot of my information from. Took weight loss coaching classes, nutrition classes, because I wanted to learn all about how food fuels your body.
Well, in trying to reduce what you were eating and how much you were eating and looking at the food, what about things like fasting and things like this? Have you looked into that as well when you were making this transition?
The transition, no. It was all about the nutrition. Now, the fasting and the juice cleanses that I've done just recently, um, funny enough, when I was trying to lose the weight initially about 10 years ago, I thought that fasting and juice fasting and water fasting was way too extreme. So I was like one of those people that's like, they're doing a lot. I don't know if I want to do all of that. So 10 years, it's funny to be that person now that's doing all those things in comparison to that person that was like, a little judgmental of that lifestyle back then. So I always tell people never say never on what you would try. Sometimes you just got to try it before you're like, that's too much, or I think that's too extreme, because now I'm the person on the other side.
So when you settled on fruits and vegetables as your food that's going to help you feel good and be at a healthy weight, were there certain foods that you gave up that you were very hesitant or you missed, or from a nutritional standpoint, you were doubtful, like maybe you need to eat that, or did you just go do it and you feel good about it?
What I did 10 years ago is I did focus on my fruits, my vegetables, my lean meats. I did all of that. It was more whole food based. It was not raw. It was not vegan. It was not any of that at that time, because I was always under the the education that I was getting is that those things were needed. Like I needed to have those proteins in there. I believed in high protein diets. I believed in making sure you get your high protein in there, and that needed to come from animal products. I believed all of that back then. And it wasn't until the last year or so that I've kind of changed. I've definitely changed my philosophy since then. But back then it was giving up the processed foods, giving up the fast foods, giving up the high sugary foods was the key for me to lose the weight initially.
And what changed your mind more recently about the types of food you're eating, like the animal products and things like this?
Last year, the first part of last year, I started to have a lot of health symptoms that was coming, and I kind of chalked it up to perimenopause. That I'm going through a transition. I was having hot flashes. My hands were shaking. I would wake up and having heart palpitations. It felt like everything was speeded up. I was having anxiety. So spent about 4 or 5 months going to doctors, ended up going to a specialist, an endocrinologist, and was told that I have hyperthyroidism, that my immune system was essentially attacking my thyroid. And that is why all of this madness was happening. But I had to wait a couple of months to see a specialist. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to wait. I'm going to take control of my health now. So I decided to, what do they say? You have to do things differently in order to get a different outcome. I decided to drastically change my diet. I decided to stop eating meat, stop eating dairy, and eliminate those things from my diet and really focus on fueling my body with fruits and vegetables, specifically lots of cruciferous vegetables. I came across Dr. Brooke Goldner's study and her channel and her information. I kind of implemented her protocol, which is to eat a pound of cruciferous vegetables a day, in a smoothie. So I started implementing her protocol for about a couple of months. And I did see a big improvement in my symptoms. And I started having more energy. And I just was like, this feels really good for my body. And went to the doctor, got the diagnosis, got on meds for a few months. Then my thyroid went from hyper, which is overactive, to slowing down. The doctor took me off of the medication, thank goodness. Had never been on medication in my life. And he said, well, let's just see if everything would kind of level out on its own. And that's kind of where I am. I haven't been on medication in about well, let's say about 3 months now. None of the symptoms have come back. I've been to the doctor since then, and my labs all improved.
Amazing, amazing. So you've lived the reality of first looking to overcome weight and struggling with doing that for years because you were just focusing on restricting food. Then you've learned that the type of food you're eating is a connection. So you just want to eat foods that make you feel good. And that included some animal products. But then you still started experiencing issues. And then you got rid of the animal products and your conditions begin to improve.
Yes.
And so now you're looking good, you're feeling good, you're not taking medication. What advice would you have for people that are watching that were at any stage of what you were at? They're overweight or they're doing what they think is healthy, but they're starting to experience symptoms. What advice would you give them when it comes to this mind and food and health connection?
Well, I think that you definitely, like I said previously, you have to be willing to do what may be uncomfortable. That's going to be out of your comfort zone. Because think about it, if you, whatever you're doing over and over again is going to produce a result. And if it's a result that you don't like, then obviously you have to start revisiting things that might bring you a little bit of discomfort. And you, in order to get a different result, you have to be willing to do things differently. In the age that we live in, there is too much information at your fingertips. And I know it's information overload. However, there is so much information that you can learn to gain wisdom in order to take charge of your health. And you have, with all the information that you can learn out there, I call it YouTube University, that you can take control of your health. I feel like you're not stuck. And not to take your health and put it into somebody else's hands when you can learn and apply that knowledge on yourself. What is it going to hurt to say, you know what? I'm going to take 10 days and eat fruits and vegetables and see how it goes. Everything that I tried came with discomfort. Everything that I tried came with my mind saying, what are you doing? Because your mind is concerned about keeping you safe. It really don't care about whether you want to lose weight and get healthy or not. It cares about keeping you safe. It cares about keeping. And so once you start to do things outside of what is used to, it's going to do everything to pull you right back to what you're comfortable in, which is why a lot of people can't lose weight, because weight has become a sense of comfort for them. They can hide behind that. So as soon as you try to lose weight, and your mind is like, no, what are you doing? We don't exercise every day. What are you talking about? We don't walk every day. We don't eat just fruits and vegetables. What are you doing? And I had that happen. I have a big following on Instagram, and people were like, I lost followers. They're like, what are you doing? You just eat fruits and vegetables now? So you have to be willing to get uncomfortable. You have to be willing to try things outside of your comfort zone and know that in order to get a different result, you have to be willing to try something completely different.
And do you take supplements?
I don't take supplements now. I take the only thing that I take is I have a herbal blend of tea that I take, and I take that. And I'm currently doing a parasite cleanse. That's I'm taking those supplements.
What was the last one?
It's a parasite cleanse. I'm doing something for parasites.
Okay, okay, a parasite cleanse. Okay. So tell us about the role of exercise in losing weight. Right when even when you were eating foods just to restrict calories, all the way to now, how important is the role of exercise in losing weight?
It's my belief that our bodies were designed to move and not be sedentary. So if you look at it from the standpoint of I'm giving my body this gift to move, then it is so important for your cardiovascular health. Like you need to move. Now, definitely strength training plays a part in helping weight loss uh be more beneficial because of course more muscle is going to burn more fat at rest, and it's also going to give you a toned look that most people are looking for in order to be defined. But muscle plays a huge role in the fat loss process. So the movement, making sure you're getting 6K to 10K steps in the day, or just moving 10, 15 to 30 minutes a day, or setting a small goal. I always say when you decide, okay, I'm going to lose weight, don't decide I'm going to hit the gym 5 days a week, or I'm going to make sure that I um, weight train, go walking, everything. I always tell my clients to start with a small habit, especially if you've been sedentary. Just commit to a non negotiable of 10 to 15-minute walk after dinner, or 10 to 15 minutes before I start my day, or on your lunch break. Make it a non negotiable just to build the habit of movement and go from there versus doing all the things and get overwhelmed and just stop. Because believe me, if you do that, your mind is going to talk you out of it.
Have you made any connection with the times you're eating your meals and how many meals you're eating, or do you just eat pretty much whenever you feel like eating?
I used to, uh, when I was actively trying to lose weight, I would, make sure you had your 3 meals and make sure you had your snacks and that kind of thing. Now I open my fasting window, and I don't fast so much that if I do eat outside my window, I'm beating myself up. I don't do that. But typically intermittent fasting, eat between 11 and I stop eating around 6:30. Now, when I switched over to eating a more raw diet, that was the first time in my life that I wasn't feeling like I had to restrict or calorie count. I just eat until I'm satiated and I'm done. And with the addition of just doing a more raw food diet, because the foods aren't as calorie laden, you just eat until you're full and you're nourished and you're stopped. That's the freedom, in my opinion, of eating a more raw diet, is that I can eat without feeling like, oh my gosh, this has so many calories in it. Versus if I were eating the standard American diet, which I was for years and years, I would look at the calories and everything. I knew the calories and everything by memory. I calorie counted for so long. I can tell you if I go to a restaurant how many calories it has in it because I did it for so long. And it feels so good to be free from that now over the last year. Like I feel like, oh my gosh, I don't have to look. I can eat as much watermelon or as much fruit and a huge ginormous salad, and I don't have to count calories. And I'm at my lowest weight in my entire life.
So are you saying you still practice intermittent fasting from 6:30 at night to 11 a.m. in the morning?
Yes, but like I said, I'm not. If I eat after 7, I'm not like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like if I feel like I want to eat before 11, I eat before 11.
Well, how often do you feel that way?
Uh, Probably let's say maybe 2 days out of the week, 2 or 3 days out of the week. For me, I'm not going to put myself in such a box that if I go outside that box, I am feeling guilty about it. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. How much do you currently weigh and what's your size height?
I am 5'7" and I am at 145 pounds. My highest weight was probably about 235.
Wow. Wow. And how much of that high weight do you think was diet related versus thyroid related?
Oh, it was diet for sure.
Wow.
Yeah, because my thyroid condition kind of sped everything up, which means that I was supposed to be losing a lot of weight. But no, no, it was diet. And I think you get more results when you're real with yourself. It's easy to blame outside factors and why I was overweight. I'm a person that I tell my clients in order to change something, you have to acknowledge it. Like it's easy for us. I've worked with clients that says, "Oh, I have hypothyroid. I can't lose weight," and which is true, but you have to acknowledge your role and why you're where you are. And for me, I was overeating. I was binge eating. I was using food as comfort. When I lost my child, I was eating a whole medium pizza. I would order and eat the whole thing. I would stop by McDonald's and get four chocolate Subway and get three oatmeal raisin cookies, and then go to McDonald's and get the value and go to a park and eat it all. So you have to acknowledge your behavior so that you can change them.
So it sounds like you try to explain this to your clients, what you found for yourself, that this is more emotional and mental than it's about eating certain foods or not. It's about, once we get in a good emotional state, we're not going to reach for those unhealthy foods.
Exactly, because you love yourself, and a lot of it, even at I'll be 48 this year, it's about learning how to love your body. And I'm eating this food because I love my body. I don't want to, because a lot of times we look at I got to eat healthy as a punishment. I got to eat this salad when I'm watching all y'all eat y'all hamburgers and French fries. You know what I'm saying? But you're looking at this as I love my body, so I'm going to take care of it. And that's a whole journey for some of us. It's a whole journey.
Well, there are some people that we see that are in the fitness movement that can eat the burger and fries and they're pretty fit. So how do you explain something like that?
Well, considering a lot of times when you have the high muscle, yes, your body burns more at rest. But it doesn't change the fact that does this food truly nourish my body? The hamburger, all that processed food, whether they look healthy all day, but you have no idea what's going on in your body. Let me tell you, I spent even as a weight loss coach, I would still eat the processed food. I would still eat the sugar, and people would look at me and be like, "You're so in shape," but you go to the doctor, and I got hyperthyroidism. But I was still eating all the food. I was still so you just because someone looks fit, you have no idea what's going on. I was surprised at what was going on in my body when I was eating all that stuff. But it's still my body was inflamed. I was full of inflammation because if you have Graves' disease, which is autoimmune that causes that hyperthyroidism, your immune system doesn't just wake up and decide, "Hey, I'm going to attack her thyroid today." It comes from the inflammation in your body. And I can look fit all day, but if I am eating like trash, that inflammation is going to build up and I'm going to start getting symptoms and I'm going to get the backlash of what I'm eating, whether I'm looking fit on the outside or not.
Exactly. What I tell people is being fit is part of health, but if you're fit, it doesn't necessarily mean you're healthy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
And
like and when I posted that on my social media, they were like, "What? Oh yeah." Oh yeah, because what you're eating in the dark is gonna come to the light. It's
It
gonna
is.
show on the outside, and that's what happened. And I was totally transparent with my clients that yes, I was still eating the foods I shouldn't have been eating, and look what's happened. So now I have to undo all that damage that I was causing my body for years. Because it takes years for your body to cry out and say, "Girl, enough's enough. What are you doing?" All of that takes years. Now to remove all the inflammation that I caused my body to stop my immune system from attacking my thyroid and get rid of the inflammation
So
without the
if you
which I
had to if you had to label your diet or identify where you at, uh, how would you identify yourself, or what would you say? What kind of diet are you eating if somebody asked you?
right now I am just I always say I'm just eating living foods. That's what I'm saying. It's hard for me to identify with the different labels, but I tell people I'm just eating living foods. That if it comes, I say God's food. That's what I call it. If it's coming from the earth, I'm eating it. That's where I'm at. I'm eating the living foods.
Without people understanding that, though, living sounds like, an animal. I mean, but you're 100% vegan, right? Or
Right now, I am eating a more. If I had to have a term, I'm eating a more raw vegan diet.
raw vegan, okay.
I'm eating
Uh,
more.
do you do any eggs or milk or anything like that?
I'm not doing any eggs or milk or anything like that. I'm just eating. Mostly fruits and vegetables. Like right now, I'm doing a watermelon fast for the next 7 days. It is. I find that I'm feeling the best at just eating more raw foods at this point.
Okay, so 7 days you're just doing watermelon. Have you
Yes.
done something like that in the past?
Yes, I came off a juice fast 2 weeks ago. I did a 37-day juice fast. And then before that, I did a 15-day water fast.
Okay, was that the first time you fasted?
It was the first time I've ever fasted and the hardest thing I've ever done.
So you fasted, wait, so 15 days with just water,
Yes,
and then how many days with juice?
37.
37.
37.
So you went without any solid food here now for, about 50, almost 60 days.
Yes. The water fast I did, I waited about a month and then I went into the juice fast.
Now what, in this role of fasting, you're eating healthy, you're eating fruits and vegetables, you lost the weight, you're feeling good, your tests are good, you're off the medication. What made you decide, "Hey, I'm gonna go 2 weeks without eating food, without going to"
Well, one of those things was my doctor visits and his follow-ups motivate me because yeah, I'm off the medication. The goal is to stay off the medication. That's my goal. Like I have when you're getting medication that has side effects that are detrimental, that's enough for me to not have a desire to go back on medication. So and people sometimes have to have something medically in order to change their life. And that was enough motivation for me. So I decided to do the water fast and the juice fast because I want those follow-ups to be like, okay, you're good to go. And even after that, this is how I feel my best. So you kind of look at it as a blessing that the thyroid condition happened because if that thyroid condition wouldn't have happened, I would have kept on with the lifestyle behaviors that weren't serving me. And goodness knows what that could have led to. So I looked at it as a blessing to change my health for the better. And through my example, my mom has done fast. Well, my mom was already doing fasting off and on, but it led her to want to change her health at 74. It led my husband to want to be more conscious about his health and my family to be more conscious about their health. So, and learning about the role in detoxing and fasting and how beneficial it is for your body just to have times without food to give your digestive system a break to actually we eat all the time. I didn't realize how much I eat. We don't give our body a rest from food. And coming from my background, binge eating, like you eat breakfast, you think about what you're gonna eat for lunch. You eat lunch, you think about that's where I was. And I'm sure a lot of your viewers can say, yes, that's me. And you realize how much you're eating And your body is digesting. So it never gets the opportunity to repair because you're always eating. So, learning about the role in our health when it comes to detoxing and cleansing has been a game changer in your health.
When you went on water for 2 weeks, what kind of detox or change, did you experience?
Oh my goodness. I lost about 16 pounds of waist. I got a lot of mental clarity. I felt like I got the most benefits from the water fast when the water fast was over. I felt like I probably was detoxing about 2 to 3 weeks after that. I felt a lot of mental clarity, closer spirituality because I felt like I really understood the brilliance of our body because your body's in autophagy, literally eating old waste in your body. And because I would learn about what my body was doing throughout the fast. I think that's so beneficial that if you're going to do a fast, learn each day, what is my body doing right now? So to know that my body is in there like cleaning up, getting rid of dead cells, getting rid of all this stuff in my body intrigued me. Hardest thing I ever done. Hardest thing I've ever done is water fasting. But that is what motivated me. That I'm giving this, I'm saying, hey body, do your thing. I've been doing my thing for the longest and you had enough of me. So it was like, go do your thing right now. That motivated me. So mental clarity, yes, losing the waste off your body, but allowing your body is brilliant. I was healing my thyroid. The coolest thing that happened, it wasn't cool at the time, it kind of freaked me out. My goal was to continue to heal my thyroid. I got a rash from here all around my neck during that fast. And according to my fasting coach, he was like, your body's detoxing. Like just a rash all right here. It was like, wow.
So you mentioned your fasting coach. Did you have somebody supervising you on this fast?
Oh, yeah. I would tell anybody if you're fasting for the first time, get somebody who knows what they're doing. I went through a healthy alternative here on YouTube. They had a fasting group that they did. So I signed up for that. So it was nice to have people guide you to what was happening. Because if you're fasting and you're feeling all these different things, you're like, I'm going to die, I'm going to stop. But it was nice to have that person saying, no, 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 you're going to be fine. Your body, this is all detox. And to know that my body was doing that, you realize the brilliance of your body. Like God made our body to just be self-healing and wonderfully made. I thought that was amazing.
Wow. And then after your water fast, you went straight into juice, or did you?
I felt like God wanted me to, and I was like, no, 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 God. So I spent it was about 3 weeks. I can say that I'm
So
like,
how'd you break the water fast?
I break the water fast with green juice and watermelon juice for a day or two, and then I just went right into just watery fruits, and then back into my raw diet. I still
Okay.
stay into my raw diet.
And then 2, 3 weeks later, you decide you're gonna go on a juice fast.
I'm gonna do the juice fast.
And
I'm
why juice and not water fast?
because I wasn't ready for that again.
Okay. But why, after experiencing all the effects of the water fast, going back on a raw diet, did you feel there was more left to do that you had to go on a juice
I
fast?
did. I did. I felt like I wanted to. I did. I felt like there was more. It was the inflammation. I felt like it takes time to detox and remove inflammation from your body when you've spent a good, most of my life not taking care of it. So there's no way that I can feel like, oh yeah, I'm great now after months. And you spent years. I spent years abusing my body and not treating it as I should. So why would I not take the rest of this year to really be intentional with taking care of it? And that's my goal. My goal is no matter what my doctor says, clean bill of health, I'm still going to be intentional with taking care of this body that I was given.
For people that are watching and think you're absolutely out of your mind, how would you have felt 10 years ago if somebody would have told you to stop eating for 2 weeks and just drink water?
I would have said they're crazy. I'm not doing it. I mean, and I'm that person when it comes down to chicken. My family love. I was all about, you got to get that protein in. Let's go. And the protein only can come, you know what I mean? I didn't say it from animal products. I didn't even use that terminology back then because that is what I was taught in fitness, that you got to get your protein in. And the average person, they say protein has to come from animals. It has to come, get your eggs in, egg whites, chicken, start your, you know what I'm saying? So that is what I was taught. So if somebody would have told me, girl, you're going to be water fasting in a few years and doing juice fasts and all kinds of stuff, I'd have been like, no, who, me? Absolutely not. Because again, I was that person that was like, they doing too much over there with the eating the raw foods, with the doing the fasting and detoxing. They're doing way too much over there. That was my opinion of them. And then now you're like, you're one of them.
Now, what was your husband thinking when you, I mean, I'm sure he's appreciative that you lost 80 pounds, but what was he thinking when you didn't eat for 2 weeks? Was he on board with that or was he
Well,
like concerned?
that I was, my first, I'm on my second marriage right now. But my first husband was very supportive of my weight loss. Very, very, very supportive. And I divorced, and then 5 years later, I'm married to my husband now, and he is amazingly supportive. In fact, I mean, um, he's always like, man, I admire what you're doing. Like, I admire that. And he's jumped in with some fruit fasts and stuff like that. My mom jumped in with a water fast. In fact, I think she's on a water fast right now. But don't my family was very supportive. However, they did have moments in which they're like, Keith, I think you might be going a little too far. So my mom has definitely had those moments in which she thought, she did 7 days. And when I kept going, she was like, why are you going to keep going? When I did the juice fast, why? So they all were like, what are you doing? And you're going to get that. And you have to say, this is your journey. This is
Uh,
my journey.
How long ago did you lose the 80 pounds?
80 pounds was about, like I said, that was about 10 years ago.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So you were already at a good, healthy weight when you got into this marriage.
Yes.
Okay. So being healthy and all of this, you said your husband gets in on the fast and sometimes does them with you. Does he, how's his diet?
His diet is much cleaner than it was when I met him.
So
It is
but is
much,
he still consume the animal products?
he does. Yes.
How do
He does.
you feel preparing the animal products?
Um, I feel like everybody has to make their own decisions. That's how I feel. I feel like if I were to make him, everything that I've done has been about influence, education, but I don't make anybody do
How
anything.
do you feel about preparing the animal products?
Oh, I'm fine about preparing it because I feel like it's his decision. It's his,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, I come into this more plant based, and saying that I'm doing this, the diet and the lifestyle for the health. I do it for me because this was all just like, I feel my intuition doing this. I feel my intuition doing this. I'm not condemning him because I feel like I'm leading with love and I'm not leading from this is what you have to do.
Sure. Well, and the impact you have on your friends and family. What do you do now for, like you say, you're a coach, uh, a weight loss coach, a fitness coach, a health coach? What exactly are you doing now?
I do weight loss coaching. I have weight loss groups that I host, and my clients who are ready to sign to really create their very best self mentally, because I feel like mindset has to come first. Mindset is going to lead its way to the weight loss. When you change your mindset, it's going to make weight loss a lot easier. So I'm a weight loss and mindset coach. So when a client sign up with me, we develop nutritional plans, but we also see where they are mindset wise, and we also develop those mindset strategies as well.
If you have a client that feels okay about the animal products, and they're not ready to go raw vegan, can you help them lose weight still?
Yes, I meet people where they are. That is my philosophy because I work with before I changed my diet, that is where I was. So I have clients that come in and they're vegan and we go from there. I have clients that I work with that eat animal products and we go from there.
When you hear people say it has to be vegan or there's no other else or no other way or it has to be raw, how do you feel about people that are acting like that on the internet?
I feel like in my opinion, we can't decide uh what's going to be best for someone's lifestyle. That's how I feel. I feel like you have to if a person people have found healing and their best self in many different ways. And I am not going to say that this is the only way that you can get success. I feel like that's not my place to say. So when my clients come to me, it's from every different diet philosophy. But what I do teach is focus on what's going to make your body feel good health wise. That it needs to be whole foods. The processed foods with chemicals and stuff like that is, I feel like everybody benefits from staying away from that. Foods high in sugar, processed, man made, everybody benefits from staying away from those types of foods. But I'm going to meet all my clients where they are and go from there. Now, if I have clients that I've had lots of people who are it's piqued their interest what I'm doing. Hey, so I do have a PDF that says my 10-day raw fruits and vegetable cleanse. See how you feel. You can't knock it until you try it. That's how I feel about it. My whole family, I'm the only one in my family that has decided that I'm not going to eat meat and dairy, and my whole family. So when I've had Christmas, I brought my own food. Thanksgiving, brought my own foods. All so and it's different for them because they're like, what? But they're supportive. They understand, and now I know that food doesn't have to be the center of how we celebrate. You know, I put on music and we dance and have fun. It's just having fun in connection with my family. It doesn't have to be food. And that's much different from my culture. That's much different than what my family's used to. Everything involves around food, what we're going to eat, what she's going to make, what sweet she's going to make, versus, hey, let's all play games together. We're here to enjoy each other, and it doesn't have to be tied to food.
Sure. Usually, if people are not overweight, they could still be unhealthy, but but I believe it's almost impossible to be overweight and be healthy. And so I tell people, look, whatever disease they have, or illness they're dealing with, the first thing they got to do is figure out how to lose that weight. And everything else can be individualized to their particular diagnosis and everything else. But if they don't lose that weight, they're not going to see that improvement. So I appreciate what you're doing and the message you're sharing and living because you're showing people firsthand how to do that. So if people want to get in touch with you to work with you and your services, is through your website the best way?
No, you can actually contact me on Instagram, and it's I am Makita Harvey, and here on YouTube at I am Makita Harvey.
Okay, I will put both those links below. But what would your message be to somebody who's tried in their mind everything and nothing seems to work on helping them lose weight?
And piggybacking off what you just said, when you try everything you know to do, then you have to be willing to explore things you've never done. And sometimes, in order to explore that, you have to do it with get help. Like people think that there's shame in asking for help. When you've gotten to where you can go, then that's where you have to get support from somebody that's been where you are. And I think that's true for everything in life where we want to be successful at. We have to be able to work with somebody that's been where we are to get to where they want to go. So and you're not stuck. We're never stuck in life. If someone's watching this, is not by accident. It's by you've attracted that into your life. So you're not stuck. Just find that help that you know is out there that can help.
Wonderful. Now, there's many different levels of or different types of ways of eating out there. Do you believe, from your experience, somebody could reach the level of success you have in terms of health and your weight with a different way of eating?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, so eating a different type of way they could
You
still reach
you mean
this.
losing the weight in a
No,
different
not
other
just losing the weight, because we know somebody could eat. Somebody can go on very unhealthy diets and lose weight. I'm talking about the level of success from a health standpoint, overcoming your diagnosis of the thyroid issues, and just in general, can they reach the same level of health if they ate a different in a different way? For example, like there's a paleo diet out there, and there's also the carnivore diet out there, and all this that has areas of success in some areas, but can they reach the same level of health without doing the the raw food and the fasting, in your opinion?
definitely think that I don't know. That's a really good question. You got me thinking deep here. You got me thinking deep. I definitely think that when you're eliminating the raw fruits and the vegetables, I think that I don't know if, and I'm sure that some people definitely think that they can have that level of success in what they do, because I believe your belief system has a lot to do with um, the level of success. If your belief system says that yes, and that's what you believe, and do you believe your mindset says yes, I can, then yeah, you probably can.
Sure.
Definitely. Um, in my opinion, when it comes down to eliminating the fruits and vegetables, I'm like, I, I would feel it being more challenging, in my opinion. However, I do believe your level of belief is going to get you it's going to get you the success if you believe it.
Sure. Now, last thing I'll say and bring up before we end here is I'm really into thinking and believing that one of the best healing things we could do is get good quality sleep. Tell us about the how your sleep has changed over your journey.
It's good that you say that, because we before I you didn't prioritize sleep, but when you understand what happens to your body while you're sleeping, that is the ideal time that your body can repair itself. And that I'm a big believer that you have to understand the why behind why people tell you to do certain things. You can be somebody can tell you to eat the fruits, eat the vegetables, go fast, get sleep, and you're like, don't just believe it because somebody you deem as a professional says go do it. Go and research why, so that you understand why you're doing this. Sleep is everything. Everything. It is when your body can repair itself. So why would you not give your body that gift of being able to do what it's designed to do? So sleep is very, very important. I make sure that I get probably a good 6 to 7 hours. And switching my diet, being active all day and switching my diet allows me to get much better sleep at night. When you don't get sleep, you're tired, you're cranky, you're eating a lot to compensate for the fact that you are tired. So you have to make sure that you're getting optimal sleep, that you're waking up feeling rest and rejuvenated and ready to go. Sleep is and people put sleep at the bottom of the barrel, and then you need coffee to get going. You have to prioritize your sleep. I'm a mama that believes her kids. My kids are 10 and 7. They go to bed 7:30. And I feel like if I go outside that window, they wake up cranky in the morning. Like they need a good 10 to 11 hours for them to be at their best self. So I'm on summer vacation right now. I don't sleep in. Like I still make sure people are like, "You're not sleeping." No, my body's used to waking up. We're gonna stay on that circadian rhythm. We're gonna go ahead and get up and work out, get it done. Because it's important for me not to mess my sleep cycle up.
So many connections between good quality health and not being overweight. And it doesn't have to be the standard norm that just because your family was overweight and everybody here needs to be overweight, you can break that and you can be healthy. And you're a great example of that. And I wanted to have you on here because if there's anyone here struggling with that or just wants to follow somebody who's done it, here's a great example, and I'm going to put her contact information below. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and keep up the great work you're doing.
Thanks so much. I appreciate that.
All righty, this was great. Everybody, get there, and thank you for watching, everybody. Put your comments and questions below. Until then, have a great day and a great raw life.
Nature's wealth, good for your health. This is the raw life health.